As predicted, the Serfs didn't want to debate on China. He wanted the petty drum to sell his channel. What are you talking about? You're like, buddy, what is going on? I have 600 people watching me right now. I was platforming you. This was almost a favor. What the fuck? Yeah, really clout sharking those husk channels from the fucking aughts. It's like 12 years ago you were God Emperor. What has happened now? Alright everyone, I have Jason. We're speaking to each other. I don't know if we really have a format for this, because, I mean, we have a lot of wild accusations that have gone in both directions. I'm pretty sure you name-calling me wasn't a wild accusation. It wasn't a wild accusation? So should we just go down the list? I've written down...
No, we agreed to debate whether or not China is socialist. And then you last night sent me a message saying, oh, can we do this other stuff too?
So this is already strange. I put out a tweet, and I've got the tweet in front of me. So the tweet says, here's the debate topic. Possible, is China communist or socialist? And you responded, there's no way you're going to prove it's socialist. That's not, I agree to this debate term, or here is my position. This is just a random sentence coming out of my mouth. So. No,
it isn't. It is an acceptance. And then I repeatedly tweeted out in other times and on Facebook that was what was going to be the debate.
Well, okay,
because that was the impression that I was left by the fact that you had given.
Okay, well, first off, you have to say, I accept these terms and I agree in the positive or the negative. Like, I don't even know where you stand on this, on that topic. If you want us to start there, we can, but...
Then why don't you think you should have looked that up before suggesting that?
Shouldn't I have looked up your position on the topic before suggesting a debate on the topic?
Yeah.
Like, this is the exact same problem that you're now pointing at me. I mean, I don't want to sit in here and do a conversation of semantics. You've wanted to apparently have a conversation with me for some time. There's a handful of reasons why.
No, I said a debate.
Okay, sorry.
I've never said a conversation. I'm not interested in having a conversation with you.
All right. Well, okay. If we're gonna have a debate, we should debate on things that we can actually talk about. If we're gonna talk about China, we need to take stances. China.
This is exactly what I knew was going to happen. You tweeted out China. I accepted. And then I put out on Facebook and then again out on Twitter. Right. I don't know why this debate would take place as we both have the same position.
Okay, that's
no.
I tweeted on Parler about 2 weeks ago, and you didn't respond to that. I also tweeted on TikTok. You didn't say anything about that. So why didn't you respond to my Facebook group? I don't have Facebook, buddy. So what do you expect me to be? Like you're like I've written all over the internet about this. That doesn't mean anything to me. You have a Facebook group? Fantastic. You've also
not a group, it's a page, but we're both on Twitter.
Okay, we're both on Twitter, and I'm trying to pull up the tweet right now so I can see whether you said, yes, I agree to these terms, let's do it, or...
No, I didn't use those exact words.
Well, then you haven't agreed to anything. Neither of us have. That's not like we've agreed to terms on a debate. That's just words. It's utterly meaningless unless we settle something down. Hence the problem we're having. Hence me also trying to clarify things with you. That's the whole reason on Twitter I was like,
schedule the debate without even knowing if there was even going to be a subject.
Because again, you responded with what's the date and time. And I was like, okay, I guess he just wants to go into this head first.
So I assumed that would be the subject.
So do you understand how unproductive what we're doing right now is?
Yeah, this is the way you set it up. So you set it up and so that we could have a debate over something that we don't even disagree on, and then we could agree to it and then immediately move on to something else, like pushing petty drama on me, like the false transphobia accusation. Well, that's exactly what you intended from the beginning. You already know that we both don't think China is socialist. You set this up this way.
So my question is,
are we going to debate whether or not China is socialist, or we have nothing to discuss?
And you just said ... we both agree on that. So
yes. Do you want to discuss it?
What kind of 4D chess do you think you're playing right now, dude?
Do you want to debate it? Do you want to debate it? Even if we do, someone playing devil's advocate, whatever. Or there's no reason for me to be here.
Is this just an exercise of monotony?
You're not going to start petty drama and childishness to get views. You're going to engage in a principled debate, or I'm going to leave.
Principled debate of nonsense. You are an internet clown. You are exactly what I expected you to be when you came on here.
Exactly.
That's
you resorted right to insults right away. You never had any intention of actually debating, and you immediately went to insults.
I would personally like to address the things you've accused me of. The things you have accused me of.
Nothing more for us to discuss.
Sir, what about the things that you've accused me of? Why can't we talk about that? That's something direct. If you said, if I have actual quotations that say, like, the Serfs is rather interesting coming from a middle-class white kid who doesn't like tankies because they're white, can we discuss that? Can we discuss statements like, whether or not you know the circumference, size, or texture of my balls? Things of that nature. Could we bring these issues up? Hello? Oh, was that it? Wow. Oh my. Oh yeah, he's gone. Okay. That's the weirdest one yet. I'm not gonna lie. That's the strangest one I've had yet. All right. Well, let me disconnect. Sorry, everybody. Sorry if you were expecting a conversation, a debate, or anything other than whatever the fuck that was. What the fuck was that? I don't want you to bring up any of the issues that you have previously brought up before. I want you to speak about something that we both already know the answer to. We've both agreed that we agree upon this subject. So are you going to have a spirited debate yes. Well, here we are, sir. Fuck me. How long was that? 2 minutes? Was that a speed run? Fuck. Why did I prepare so much? I spent a week worth of research on this shit. I have so many receipts as well. Not just research in terms of like, yes, I do have all these receipts. I wrote down everything he's ever said about me, like word for word, so that I could bring them up and have the actual quotations. Be like, well, I don't want you to be squirrely about this, but here's what you said at this time code. Here's what you said at this time code. Here's what you said at this time code. But that's pointless. Not to mention all the research that I've done on the history of Mao Zedong, the history of Deng Xiaoping, the re-education camps that are taking place towards the Uyghur minorities, the Sino-Soviet split, which is something that was fascinating to read about, by the way, Mr. Unruhe. That was fascinating to learn more about. It was one of the topics I had a weakness on. I wanted to talk about Thomas Sankara, which by the way, why are you LARPing after Mao when there's so many better figures that you could be LARPing after? I don't understand it. I wanted to talk about that. I wanted to talk about the Burkina Faso. I wanted to talk about that revolution. I wanted to bring up the fact that, like, did you even know what Burkina Faso means? It's like, what is it? Land of incorruptible people. I thought that would be cool. Sorry. I'm jazzed. I'm too excited. I'm energized. And now this is decidedly done. Lance, that hilarity re-earned my subscription. What the fuck? Is that the world record for shutdowns? I don't know. That was unusual. Well, yeah, now I have to go over everything without him here. I can't even hold his feet to the fire on any things. That call lasted 6 minutes. 6 minutes. That's it. It's over already? Yeah, I know. God damn it. There are more angry beta tankies out there, except to the plate, I'm certain. Sure, absolutely. Do the great John Offself, the 1 person of 8. Give it a rundown of all the things you prepared. Well, sure. I mean, I can go through all the receipts. We can talk about that. Well, Jason, I don't want to see 25 videos on your channel now about how the Serfs would not even have the bare basic balls to debate. He refused to debate me on the subject which we both agreed upon. That never happened. It was the end, the beginning and the end of all things. Yeah, I did. I mean, I know the history and the tenets of Maoism, but I'm not strong enough, in my opinion, to have debated a Maoist. So that's what I studied over the course of the past week. I was hoping we would get into that, but I was also, of course, hoping that I could address the many accusations. If you're unfamiliar, everybody, I can give you a Cole's notes. He recently put out a video where he accused me of, well, sorry, he doesn't say I did it specifically. He said Serfs fans, aka you, everyone here, created a Facebook group to try and destroy him. He followed that up by saying that this Facebook group, which is trying to destroy him, and he has his suspicions that it happens to be me who told my fans to create a Facebook group, which again is very weird. It's very unusual. I don't even use Facebook. I haven't used Facebook in years. I think someone should. There should be a leftist presence on Facebook, but I gave up on that cesspool a while ago. So anyways, he said that my fans created a Facebook group to take him down and destroy him. And the entire purpose of that was because they have criticized the rad libs, aka me and the rest of the synthetic left, and that we're only concerned with things like idpol and stuff of that nature. And that's why he wants to take us down, where he should be going after the real transphobes. He says this, he should be going after Steven Crowder. He's like, I don't understand why the Serfs, again, a white leftist, doesn't go after Steven Crowder, someone who is decidedly the biggest transphobe / homophobe out there on the internet. And I was like, motherfucker. And I wanted to say this, but I'm not going to have an opportunity. I have the most popular video on Steven Crowder. on the YouTubes, taking him down. That's Steven Chowder. I still think it's got the most views. It's got to be near to 200,000 right now. So he did do that. And then on top of which, he's like, I have made the greatest series on anti-colonialism in the history of the genre, something the Serfs have never done. And that makes me the better leftist, and all this other weird posturing. I wanted to go through that, but now I don't get to. Am I going to put, yes, I'm going to put this on YouTube. Was any of it funny? Fuck. It just seems like a weird confrontation. I'm close to going back on Twitter just to troll. I don't know what happened. Can I put this tweet up, the original tweet? Because I'm personally confused. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm an old-timey guy. All right, here's the tweet. Howdy, Mao's Rebel News. Seems rather than going back and forth, we should just set up the event you keep challenging me to. How does the topic of, is China communist or capitalist sound? I assumed, and incorrectly now, that he was going to say that China was communist or that he was pro-China. I just assumed that he was another LARPing, pro-China, they can do no wrong kind of individual. He is not. Apparently he's critical of China and thinks China is capitalist. I have found that out more recently than when I had made this tweet. So his response to this was, China isn't socialist. I'd like to see you prove it is. It's not what I said. That's not at all what I said. And so then we started going back and forth. So when would you like to chat? Name a time for a debate. We haven't agreed to terms by this point. So yes, I then before today privately messaged him and I was like, by the way, do you want to talk about China as a whole? Do you want to talk about Maoism? Do you want to talk about the things you've accused me of? Do you want to talk about the what you consider false accusations of transphobia, which I do not consider them false accusations at all, but I understand why he doesn't want to talk about that. This whole thing, which I'm realizing now, the whole thing from start to finish it's an act. This whole thing is an act. I mean, they keep accusing us of being these synthetic leftists, of being these faux leftist, rad libs, whatever you want to call it, imperialist, pro-imperialist left, and all this other bullshit. All that was is he wanted that 6-minute soundbite. Because now that's going to be, he's going to put that on his channel, I guarantee you, and it's going to be like, so the Serfs apparently decided they wanted to debate me, but refused to debate on the topic they chose. Instead, he decided to go into petty drama, as is predicted by me. Even though in the same conversation I say, we agree on this topic, are you going to debate it? It's like, are we just going to, do you want us to self-fillet each other? Is that it? Is this just purely masturbatory? Do you want me to say, yes, I agree with the thing that you also agree with? What is the fucking point of this? Why don't I set up some conflict? Hey, the essence of drama is conflict. Have you written or read a fiction book before? So why don't we do that? Why don't I go forward and I say, well, why don't I bring up, because I have the time codes, all the things you've accused me of, and then we can go through them. Because again, I have the receipts. I can talk about these things time after time. Like, for the clicks. God damn it, motherfucker, your videos, you uploaded a video that has 34 views. Like, come on, this is not, a day ago, 500 views. This is not me trying to take advantage of your platform, sir. This, whatever husk is left of this. Oh man, that's so weird. Check his Twitter. Bombshell. This is going to be the Serfs backed out of the debate immediately. As predicted, the Serfs didn't want to debate on China. He wanted the petty drum to sell his channel. What are you talking about? You're like, buddy, what is going on? I have 600 people watching me right now. I was platforming you. This was almost a favor. What the fuck? Yeah, really clout sharking those husk channels from the fucking aughts. It's like 12 years ago you were God Emperor. What has happened now? Oh my God. All right, well, I have to play at least a little of this so you understand where I'm coming from. He's already racist. Yeah, I noticed. Well, I'm going to read those comments in a bit. Those are going to be my dessert. Because guess what? Chat. I thought I had the next hour ahead of me filled with conflict. I'm sorry. I'm a little energized right now. I thought I was going into the battlefield, the battle place of ideas. But instead, this is just going to be a one-sided exploration because I did, again, do a lot of prep and research for this, as I often try to do before these debates. And being what I would consider to be a larger transphobic figure on the internet, yes, I did want to bring some attention to that as well as hold some feet to the fire and bring some truth to power in terms of this. So, if I can return to evidence number one.
It has come to my attention that fans of the Serfs have created a Facebook group in order to coordinate trying to deplatform me over various accusations which were made in the Serfs video about me, which are completely false
and many of them misrepresent things that I've actually said. Now, I'm going to give the Serfs the benefit of the doubt and that they're not actually leading this and trying to get other leftists deplatformed. But I certainly have
my suspicions. Yeah, I've watched this video a number of times because I actually had to type out all the words that he says. I'm a stenographer. That's my new job. I stenographize on the side, so I know what he's about to say now. But before he says it, anyways, the first video this individual ever posted between the two of us was on May 26, 2020. It's called The Serfs TV, Big Mouth, no ability to back it up. And that, of course, is the one in which she says, I don't have the bare basic balls to debate. In that video, which is the first between the two of us that either of us had posted, he talks about how this individual doesn't like white tankies. How can you say that? Was Mao a white tanky? Was Thomas Sankara a white tanky? Etc. etc. That's kind of the gist. He uses live stream footage of me in that video. However, that's the first of either of us, so he drew first blood in that instance. Now, one of the things that's very telling about this to me was the fact that it says, quote, interesting coming from a privileged middle-class white kid who doesn't like tankies, particularly because they are white. This sounded very similar to something that was said to Zoe Baker. If you don't know the drama involving himself and Zoe Baker, that's probably the first introduction I've had to Jason Unruhe, which was one of the most horrifying things that I've seen, considering this is supposed to be a leftist, the authoritarian left, whatever you want to call it. If you don't know, AnarchoPack, which is the other Twitter account, but also the YouTuber Zoe Baker, they got into a back and forth. They were going back and forth, in which the tweet is now non-available, but Mouse Rebel News was coming after her, saying, well, I can't quote on the original tweet. She responded with, imagine being a totalitarian who misgenders a mentally ill abuse survivor whose greatest achievement in life was not committing suicide. I must have imagined planning my suicide when I was 11 because of daily physical and emotional abuse at my school and home. I must have imagined spending most of my childhood covered in bruises, not eating for the fear of food that would be destroyed by other children. I forget that as a first worlder, I can't imagine having experienced any oppression. Thank you for correcting my memory since that nice internet mouse. And sorry, this original tweet was along the same lines as mine. White upper middle class male who, without actual oppression, leeching off third world oppression, pretending not to. Similar to the tweet that I myself had received. All right. So I got a very similar tweet to AnarchoPack and what she had received. I'm going to give a content warning because for the next little while, there's an inordinate amount, not to mention a disgusting amount, of misgendering on the behalf of Jason Unruhe. And this is one of the reasons he didn't want to explore any of this. He just wanted to have this weird circular conversation back and forth about something we already agreed on, which makes sense. That's a lot better than having to answer to these kind of receipts. This went on for a while, continuously misgendering her. Watching the AnarchoPack pity party, pretty stellar. When you call him out on his class privilege, he actually thinks his personal problems are the basis for class oppression. That's the postmodernist disease for you. His childhood sucked, assuming I believe him. Just consistent, time after time again. She was very clear that I go by she, her pronouns, but didn't matter. None of that mattered in the pursuit of this. So therefore, global divide and wealth doesn't exist, or that all other first world people live off third world exploitation. Wait until you actually have to get a job and live like an adult. Posted onto Facebook, no surprise there. When you're so offended by the existence of global class oppression, you bring up your personal family situation in order to try and dismiss it. I brought up global wealth divide, so he brings up his own personal history as if it's somehow relevant. This is the special snowflake victim complex first worlders have, particularly postmodernist garbage. Scream modernity. When faced with your global privilege, there's a difference between childhood abuse, which he kept on bringing up, and class relations. Your bad childhood, assuming I didn't have one either, is not a refutation of global class theory, nor does it make you immune from the benefits of living off third world exploitation. This kind of human garbage that claims the kind of revolutionary yet always fails to build any significant movement, let alone a revolution. Again, someone who's terminally online, completely terminally online. It doesn't make any sense. Also, this one is probably the worst fucking ones. Someone else posting the video of AnarchoPack, and this is like, this person is saying, you should apologize, blah, blah, blah. And then him saying, I don't respect his right to live. Again, misgendering in the denial of the suicide video, but I don't respect his right to live. Why would I respect any other aspect about him? Again, just consistent misgendering, intentional at this point. It has to be. Like, there's no other way to read this. I just watched the AnarchoPack attacking Finball video, typical anarchist tripe. The video basically says that authoritarianism is wrong because of freedom. He likes them, makes the argument against authoritarianism by offering what doesn't work. Like, it was nonstop, continuous. I look forward to Finball's argument in response to him in a smoking pile of faux AnarchoPack moral outrage. Can't use his Twitter name, he'll scream transphobia. You're saying that as you're misgendering her. In this right here, you're misgendering her. Yes. Setting the record straight, Idpol posts, modernism is the worst cancer there is on the left. What AnarchoPack claims he did. what he actually did. Misgendering. Like, absolutely ridiculous. Jason already posted the video. Fuck, he works fast. Damn, he's gotta beat me. Anyways, this is some of the stuff I wanted to bring up. I don't think that I was out of base in saying that, yes, I had credible evidence of transphobia when I was making those videos. Those videos, by the way, were videos that I was making of you in your own words. Like, you were the only person speaking. In those videos that I put out, it's Jason speaking to the camera and being like, oh, what am I going to do? It's just so hard these days, you know, like I can't take a stance one way or the other. If I say that I'm for the trans community, then other people will come after me. But if I say I'm against the trans community, then people will call me a transphobe and a bigot. There's no winning with this. There's just absolutely no way to take a stance on this very difficult subject. There absolutely is. Eventually. And this is just la pièce de résistance. I don't know if anyone here is fans of Zizi, also very, very good Marxist theoretician. They got into a debate. The two of them had a debate, of which I was hoping to explore some of those theories, because I too agree with the fact that I think Jason Unruhe incorrectly likes to say that communism is an eventuality that Marx proposed as a stepping stone from socialism. As in, first we're going to achieve the socialism, then we achieve the communism, and it's going to be step, step, step. That is one of the tenets that he talks about. That is not Marxist. Marx interchangeably used communism and socialism frequently inside his works, and it's only in Critique of the Gotha program that Marx comes forwards and talks about lower level socialism and higher level socialism, in which he differentiates the lower form as having, vouchers instead of money, things of this nature, and then the higher form going to be a classless, moneyless, stateless society. Who knew? I know, it's very confusing. Anyways, again, Zoe Baker, she called him out on this. Watch that 20-minute video. It's beautiful. She picks apart every single one of his arguments. His response at the end of all of this was to make this weird dancing dog video and then say this is better than responding to whatever she had to say, and then proceeded to mock the physical abuse that she suffered in her life that had made her suicidal with a South Park meme. I am not joking. That is what he did. It is absolutely fucked and abhorrent. I haven't made a video on this because it's not my story to tell. I didn't want to say like I was trying to make this into some huge thing, and I would like to point all of you towards watching Zoe. In fact, you know what? We're going to watch her video on the subject right now, because it's absolutely flooring. It absolutely floored me to see and to learn all of this, and then the fact that she'd been treated this way, whether or not you agree with her politics, whether or not you agree with her stance on Marxist-Leninism, any of that stuff, revolting, absolutely revolting. So he is not exactly a figure that I pop on here as if we're going to debate or converse about leftism. No, yes, the entire purpose was I would bring him on here the same way I would bring on Sargon of Akkad. He is a fucking piece of shit. Absolutely. I mean, yeah, you know what? I should definitely take the time to play her video.
Okay. If you do watch me, then you know so far I haven't said anything on the transgender issue. I've made one or two videos on incidences.
He already posted it. And I'm the one fishing for cash here. I'm the one trying to climb his empire of gold. Yes, definitely. And she's like, was he just sitting there with his finger on the button waiting until he can get the sound clip he wanted? I was like, all right, we've been in here long enough. So you're saying you don't want to debate the subject we both agree upon? All right, good enough for me. I'm out. Here we go. That'll be up today.
Questions over the transgender issue, but never have actually taken a position on transgenderism. And obviously, I understand, given the position that I have within the YouTube community, I obviously do have to take a side, and I do have to say what it is that I really think.
Since making this video, Maoist Rebel News has made his position on trans people clear by repeatedly and deliberately misgendering me. When I identified as agender, he wrote on Twitter in September 2017 that I'm, quote, a white, upper-middle-class male without actual oppression, leeching off the third world, pretending not to. I responded to this by saying, quote, imagine being a totalitarian who misgenders a mentally ill abuse survivor whose greatest achievement in life was not committing suicide. I must have imagined planning my suicide when I was 11 because of daily physical and emotional abuse at school and home. I must have imagined spending most of my childhood covered in bruises and not eating for fear my food would be destroyed by other children. I forget that, as a first worlder, I can't possibly have experienced any oppression. Thank you for correcting my memory, nice internet Maoist. He responded to this by saying, quote, "Watching the anarcho-pack pity party is pretty stellar. When you call him out on his class privilege, he actually thinks his personal problems are the basis for class oppression. That's the postmodernist disease for you. His childhood sucked, assuming I believe him, so therefore the global class divide in wealth doesn't exist, or that he and all the other first world people live off third world exploitation. Wait until you have to actually get a job and live like an adult." On Facebook, he repeated these claims and said that I have, quote, "the special snowflake victim complex, which first worldists have." For some reason, Jason is incapable of understanding what he himself said to me, let alone what I said in response. He said that I was a man who had not suffered oppression. I responded by saying that I'm not a man and have suffered extreme forms of interpersonal, emotional and physical abuse. At no point have I ever denied that I'm lower middle class and from England, nor have I ever said that the abuse I experienced as a child means that I don't in many ways materially benefit from the exploitation of people in the third world, such as my access to cheap electronics and clothing. All I said was that Jason was wrong to say I had not suffered oppression and that I was a man. In January 2018, I came out on YouTube as a trans woman. Upon being linked to my video on how I've been suicidal since I was 11, which was made after I came out, Jason responded by saying, quote, "I don't respect his right to live. Why would I respect any other aspect about him?"
So I went through a lot of these already. I don't have to put you all through them again, but the ending of this is the really telling part.
In March, Jason made a video in which he said that,
"Okay, Black Diamat, I'm going to put the same thing to you that I put to Black Red Guard. Put up for a debate or shut up. Stop talking shit like a little punk hiding behind the internet. Step up for an honest, principled debate or shut your ignorant mouth. And that's all I got to say to you. But I know that you like Black Red Guard, like ZZ, like Anarcho Pack, or whatever he's calling himself now. You're a punk, and you won't step up. So do us a favor and just shut your ignorant mouth, because you don't know what you're talking about."
When I responded to this challenge by saying that I will not debate Jason, he made a post on Twitter in which he again misgendered me and said that, quote, "Id pol postmodernism is the worst cancer."
So I know people always say that, what is it, like Destiny is the original debate bro, but I mean, I think Jason Unruhe was doing this long before. He says he's been doing this for like 12 years now.
For some reason, Jason likes to accuse an analytic philosopher of being a postmodernist. In May, I released a video in which I systematically demonstrated that Jason had inaccurately portrayed Marx's views on socialism and communism during his debate with Muke. Jason responded to this with the following video in which he again misgenders me.
Like, this isn't a meme. This was the video response. Was just the dog dancing on the rockets and all this stuff for a while until it eventually gets to this. I'm also skipping because of the DMCA. 20 minutes of misrepresenting what I've said is not worth responding to. Anarcho-Pack is just mad. I called him, again, misgendering, out on his identity politics, something that all Marxists should do. And then this. Show me on the doll where Jason Unruhe hurt your feelings. Like, you know, mocking the abuse at the end of all of it. Like, that's just fucked. Absolutely fucked.
Jason has never explained how I misrepresented his position, and I think there is an obvious reason why. I didn't misrepresent him. I quoted him at length and even reconstructed his views into a logically valid argument. If Jason could explain how I misrepresented him, then he would do so, as it would be an easy way to score points and make me look bad. In reality, Jason is an intellectual coward who is unable to publicly admit that he was wrong and that I, a trans woman he has repeatedly misgendered and bullied on the internet, showed him to be wrong. Jason is ultimately just a transphobic totalitarian bully who likes to roleplay at being a revolutionary. I wasn't sure how to end this video, but then Jason uploaded the following video, and I knew what had to be done.
Many of you might remember the Follow Companion mod that I made last year that didn't work and was a complete dismal failure. Well, now I have managed to finish it and it actually works. I'm going to give you 1 week to download the mod, take the NPC, and kill it in some really creative way. And if you do, it's going to get you another $20 Steam gift card. So here's how you enter the contest. You make a video, you upload it to YouTube or Twitter, doesn't really matter. YouTube is probably better. And then send it to me on Twitter with the hashtag #KillJasonUnruhe competition or contest. Kill Jason Unruhe contest specifically. Send that one. Send it to me on Twitter. I will collect them all up and I will show the best top 3 and the winner will receive a $20 Steam gift card.
Anyways, I shared the video, everybody. If you want to subscribe to her, check out Zoe Baker. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Well, here's the good news. We no longer have to deal with this side of the internet anymore. I'm going to stop taking the Jason Unruhe bait. So all these, I don't know, weird videos that he's going to make or posturing videos about how all y'all right here are creating Facebook groups to try and take him down, the strange and the weirdness. I'll watch the memes, okay? I'll watch all these memes and stuff, but yeah, I'm done giving him more clicks and views. I mean, this isn't even Caleb Maupin in all his Nazbolery. I could at least find some humor and comedy, but this just seems like a dark bully side of the internet that, like, I don't want any part of, you know, to say the very least. You've made 17.5 Facebook groups. God damn. Huh. All right, let's watch the fun. Let's check out the funny tweets. Everyone's like he's tweeting rapidly about you now. Now, Serf fans are sending insulting, harassing comments to me via DMN. Totally what I'd expected. The non-debate with the Serfs. Wow, we posted that in record time. As predicted, the Serfs didn't want to debate on. He came in on a pissy and rage quit. He said he proposed it, but you just left. We're going through the receipts of your transphobia now. Shame you didn't feel capable of defending yourself. So you didn't want to back up your shit. It would have been nice to see you here debate on China or any of the other topics. Very disappointing. As predicted, I engineered pretty dumb to then complain about it. Oh, y'all are funny. Nice 2-minute grab at attention, Jason. You just want drama. Hangs up, goes to Twitter to drama post about a debate. You spent less than 6 minutes in and was mostly complaining. What did they say now? A fraudulent claim to debate on China. He really just wanted to name call me and push petty drama. You talk shit about a guy and you play the pretty drama pushing card. Nice. Fake. Called it from the beginning. Well, yeah, I guess you got what you wanted. You got the memes. It was 6 minutes. But yes, absolutely, don't harass him. To anyone who's actually harassing him in DMs, do not harass him. Don't harass anybody. The only thing I like y'all doing as a collective is good things. Mutual aid, direct action, subscribing to a channel, lifting someone up. Don't go out and bully. I don't ever want like a team, a mob of internet people who go off and try to destroy individuals who are mean to me. I'm going to always do what I do, which is fight internet bullies. That's my shtick. So don't worry. I can take the internet police. I'm fine with it. You don't have to go out and try and DM them and be rude to them. Anyone who's on the verge of being like, I want to DM him because he's an asshole, transform that into follow, subscribe to Zoe. Why don't you go do that? Go subscribe. I got the URL. Oh, there's a Cope video already. Good theme, though. I'll give him that. It says, here's the... He's leaking my DMs. Well, are we going to show the follow-up to this DM? He's not? Okay, cool. So I don't ever leak DMs without permission of the other party. I've never done it in my history. But once the other party has leaked my DMs, then it's game over. It's open to whatever we feel. So shall I show you the full conversation? So yeah, this is the full one, which is erase the last one. Curious. What's the deal with tomorrow? Do you use Discord? Yes, I use Discord. Jason Unruhe 3133. Sounds good. 3 p.m. Pissed still work. That's not his real Discord. I'm not doxing him, by the way. He gave me the wrong one. My message after this is you gave me the wrong Discord name. Don't worry. Sounds good. 3 p.m. still work. And what's the order of the debate? The transphobic accusations, China, something else? You already agreed to China. Are you trying to change it now? I tweeted a suggestion and all you wrote was I won't be able to prove it's socialist or something, which isn't even a yes or a no. But if you want to debate China, sure, I'm game. See you then. There's the hidden piece of the puzzle. COVID-19. But yeah, you're through the looking glass here, everybody. There's the part you weren't allowed to see. I'm guessing maybe it'll be added in a future upload. Yeah, I guess like that's why I was trying to clarify things. I was like, I don't really know what we're debating, but do you want to talk about that? Do you want to talk about the fake? Like you have said publicly that I falsely accused you of transphobia. I don't think I falsely accused you of transphobia. Do you want to talk about that? Do you want to do you want to bring something else up? Do you want to clarify what we're going to debate? And then he's like, you're trying to change it now. Oh, what a sneaky tactic. What have I done? What are these sneaky tactics? God damn. Yeah, no. I'm just going to leave him. If anything, I was just hoping, this would be a nice opportunity to clear the air between all these things for someone to say that you're falsely accusing me of transphobia, which is a very serious charge. And I understand that. I wouldn't falsely accuse someone of transphobia and not own up to it. If someone's like, Lance, you have falsely accused me of transphobia, then yes, I think I have a duty to be like, well, here is the evidence of which I have utilized to do this. Absolutely. But no, he's an irrelevant piece of shit that I've given much more attention to. And you know what's sad is that I think he saw what happened with Caleb, because Caleb went from like 9,000 subscribers to Afterthought Slime did a couple of videos on him, 13,000. So this is it. It's what he's accusing me of, just in the opposite direction. It's climbing the clout ladder, to say the least. He got more interactions from this event than he has. 6 minutes. That's got to be the record, right? That's my speedrun record. There's a great comment here. I wanted to read it, and it's about Marxist-Leninism. And I wanna say what I've said multiple times before, everybody. Marxist-Leninists can be based. I don't like the idea of people lumping all Marxist-Leninists as tankies. That is not true. That is false. Don't do that. All right, tankies is a pejorative used largely online, but it's usually to refer to people who engage in Stalin apologia. All right, that's Stalin or Maoist apologia as well. But then the response will usually be, well, did you know that there's a long legacy of tankies? There's a lot. Come on. Would you call Mao a tanky? Would you call Stalin a tanky? It often gets into this weird category where I want to ask, do you think you were in Leningrad? Like, do you think you were a part of that? Or in the case of Jason, do you think that you're ever going to become a Chinese citizen? Do you think there's a point where if you do enough of these, if you rage quit enough times quickly, that you'll eventually be allowed in? Like they'll open the gates? But Leninist Lakers fan, as someone who cares deeply about trans rights, that is in fact why I'm a Marxist-Leninist Maoist, because I think a cultural revolution is necessary for trans rights to be fully realized. See, you're coming from a place of genuine love there, unlike Jason, who is coming from a place of confusion, to say the least. Stalin did have fascist tendencies. Well, no, fascism is the wrong word. Sorry, authoritarian tendencies. But here's the thing about people who stand Stalin that at some point as a leftist you have to also bring up, like, if you're going to be a denier of the Holodomor, if you're going to say that either you think that just didn't occur, which is the most bizarre you'll come across, but people who think that it occurred but had nothing to do with Stalin's policies is also bizarre, because, you know, both in the testimony of people who were in the Politburo as well as numerous accounts of people who were in their inner circles will attest to that, yes, it is in large part due to the policies of Stalin that there was a mass starvation that resulted in the deaths of millions and millions of people. Whether or not it was intentional is what is disputed by historians. Whether or not it was intentionally done as a way of an ethnic cleansing of the Ukrainian minorities, that is up for debate. So that's not something you can say whether or not it was distinctly a genocide by that definition kind of thing. The same thing applies to Mao, by the way. In terms of Mao and what happened with the Great Leap Forward, there's no denying, first off, okay, that there was, of course, an incredible amount of benefits to the initial years of Mao as he was trying to empower the peasants, the farmers, the workers, all that kind of stuff. But there's also the Great Famine of China, which occurred in large part due to policies of collectivization for farmers, combined with trying to modernize and industrialize the farming sector, which were, again, rural agrarian farmers who eventually, yes, were not going to be the best metallurgists. That's just an unfortunate side effect. Or when it goes back to Stalin, people don't bring up when he suddenly took millions of political dissidents during what is called the Great Purge and put them into concentration camps, gulags. Like, the memes are awesome. The memes are fun. Send them to the gulag, sure. But you should be understanding that this is the imprisonment into concentration camps, and this is what happened to millions of individuals. And it's a really fucked up part of history. And so it's something that people should be aware of, that they should talk about. I mean, I think people who stan someone like Stalin, for example, it's the same as if you want to stan someone like Churchill, which is really bizarre to me, or someone like Bush or Obama. Like, you know, these are world leaders, and oftentimes, especially if you're going to be a superpower, you're going to have blood on your hands. You're going to have blood on your hands. Like, it's kind of par for the course. It's just really cringe to me that you're like, well, I'm an Obamist, you know, like I'm into everything Obama did, or I'm a Clintite, or whatever they called themselves. Like, I'm really into the third way. I loves the third way. Get me more Bill Clinton. Like that. It's just super cringe. But it's fine if we can just reflect upon these historical figures and look like these are negative things they did. These are positive things they did. Why don't we look towards that and then take the positives and be like, well, here is what was good. Here's what was better than imperialism. Here's what's better than Western imperialism. Here's what's better than American imperialism. Here's what's better than colonialism. These are the aspects that we can take and then we can try and replicate and or improve in society. That's, in my opinion, what should be the goal. And that's typically why it's usually the anarchists that I say. No, I'm joking. We're not playing team sports, all right? All lefties are beautiful, except for the authoritarian ones.
What lies around the corner? Never knowing who's going to kill you. Are you the next one to be murked? You never know if it's a friend or a foe. If you want to see the biggest names in BreadTube and Left Twitch and Butterthing, and I don't know the fucking names anymore, come see Left Among Us.
If you want us to advertise your channel or work, please go to weareserfs.com and email us a 20 to 30 second ad, and we'll take it on to the end of one of our videos to help promote your leftist channel or progressive something. Whatever you do.
To our God, I'm Rast, Xander Corvus, and Schlatsky, we shall commit blood sacrifices in your honor. To our monarch, Tom Spiker, our lives are yours to command. To our lords, Jeffrey Lamb, Trevor R., Stephen, Hans Josephine, Poppy Nelson, Ryan Lubin, Jimothy K. Meeblebeeps Jr., we bow meekly for your pleasure. To our knights of the round table, Josh Mickelson, Dylan Byth, Zach Christensen, Todd Buckingham, Todd Lajeunesse, Political Puppy, Jimmy Bignuts, Andreas Chitoro, Good Poon Hates Cops, That's Solid Poon Then, Dr. Zayas, Yoppy, Violent Orchard, Sophie Baby, Jack Darko, Thomas Barretton, J. Fraser Cartwright, Goofalankius, Melissa Murphy, Nicholas Marks, Alexander Thaler, Ali Rada Jaffer, Alex Gauvin, Radical Maniac, we salute you.